Here we see our STS-80 flight crew. Astronaut Story Musgrave down on the end. He'll be in charge of the wake shield facility activity on this mission. Here's our flight engineer, Tom Jones. He'll be working the remote manipulator system, doing an EVA, and there's our commander, Ken Cockrell. There is mission specialist Tamara Jernigen, lead on our Orpheus spas, and will be doing one of the crew spacewalks. And there is pilot Ken Rominger at the end of the table. And the crew just getting ready for breakfast. There's the STS-80 traditional cake on the table. And when breakfast is over, they'll head down to suit up and head out for the launch pad, which is just about an hour away at this time. Here in firing room 3 of the Launch Control Center, all of our activities continue to go smoothly. The final inspection team is on the pad. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours in holding, where we're in the suit-up room, and we see our commander, Ken Cockrell, in his suit-up activities today. Ken originally from Austin, Texas. And our pilot, Kent Rominger. Originally from California, and STS-80 is his second space shuttle flight. Mission specialist Dr. Tammy Jernigen will be one of our EVA astronauts on this mission. And she will also be the primary astronaut, taking the lead in the Orpheus Spas activities during the 2 weeks it will be in space. And going across the room, there is mission specialist Tom Jones. He'll be our flight engineer on this mission, and he will take the lead in operating the remote manipulator system, mechanical arm. Suit-up activities are going smoothly and on time without any problems leading toward their walkout in about another 15 minutes. And there is Story Musgrave making his 6th flight into space, tying the record along with veteran astronaut John Young. He will be the lead astronaut associated with the wake shield facility activities on this flight, and will providing EVA support while Tom Jones and Tammy Jernigen are out in the payload bay. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 2 hours, 55 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. Here we see the STS-80 astronauts leaving the crew quarters en route to the elevator to ride down from the 3rd to the 1st floor to ride the astronaut van out to pad 39B. About a 20-minute ride out to the pad. We expect they'll arrive out there shortly after noon. And here they come. now boarding the astronaut van for the very short leg of their 16-day mission. And here we see the astronaut van now approaching the ramp at the launch pad with Space Shuttle Columbia. They will ride the elevator up to the orbiter access arm and one at a time begin boarding Columbia, where in parallel preparations continue to get Columbia ready for its ascent, which will take overall about 40 minutes or so until it's actually in its final circular orbit of 219 statute miles. Very shortly we'll be loading the orbiter's computers with the proper ascent profile, which depends on the upper level winds at the time of launch. These are called I-loads, and they tell the vehicle what angle of attack to use at various times during the ascent and at various speeds. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 2 hours, 34 minutes, 12 seconds and counting, where we've seen the astronauts arriving at the crew access arm, walking across the arm now to enter the white room. Some of the crew members will probably wait outside for their turn to enter, and as commander, Ken Cockrell will sit in the left front seat, of course, which is traditional, and then Kent Rominger as the pilot will sit in the right front seat. And then as the other crew members board, Mission Specialist Story Musgrave will sit in the aft right seat. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 7 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. Preparing now to retract the orbiter access arm, which can be put back into position very quickly if there be a problem. This is the main engine helium purge sequence, which prepares the engines for main engine start. Main engine's now being gimbaled as a steering check for Columbia. The beanie cap, the gaseous oxygen vent hood now being retracted.
Memory cleared. Unexpected errors. OTC copies. And Columbia OTC, close and lock your visors, initiate O2 flow, and enjoy a weightless Thanksgiving. Genesis, go for ET.
That's some work, Dave. We sure appreciate all your work for this flow and this morning, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Roger that.
Replenishment of liquid hydrogen now terminated, and the hydrogen tank is pressurized.
One minute, 30 seconds.
Sound suppression water system now being armed. Solid rocket booster joint heaters now being turned off. Final check of booster commands. Locks and LH2 fill and vane valves are closed.
550 at this time.
Recommend continue, sir. Copy that, NTD, you're clear. Copy that. GLS entity, pick up count on your mark. GLS copy. On to zoom on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS scope, auto sequence start. 25.
Solid rocket booster hydraulic power units have started. Sound suppression water system armed. Main safety systems armed. 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 7, 6. 3 main engines up and burning. 2, 1. And liftoff of Space Shuttle Columbia on a diversified mission of astronomy and commercial space research.
Houston, Columbia, roll program.
Roger, roll, Columbia.
Houston is now controlling. The roll maneuver is complete. Columbia is in a heads-down, wings-level position, headed to its 190 nautical mile orbit. Seconds into the flight, Columbia's engines are now beginning to throttle down to 67% of rated thrust as the orbiter passes through the area of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle in the lower regions of the Earth's atmosphere. Columbia now miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at an altitude of 4 miles. All 3 main engines, APUs, and fuel cells continuing to perform well.
Columbia, Houston, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up.
Columbia's 3 liquid-fueled engines are now back at full throttle, 104% of rated thrust. Columbia now traveling 1,800 miles per hour, 15 miles in altitude, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 13 miles. All 3 main engines continuing to perform well. The next event will be the burnout and separation of Columbia's twin solid rocket boosters.
Columbia, Houston, performance nominal.
Roger, performance nominal.
2 minutes, 18 seconds into the flight, the booster officer has confirmed separation of the solid rocket boosters, and performance on board Columbia has been as expected. All 3 main engines are continuing to perform at 104% of rated thrust. The 3 auxiliary power units and fuel cells are also continuing to perform as expected. Columbia now downrange from the Kennedy Space Center at a distance of 55 miles, an altitude of 42 miles, traveling 3,290 miles per hour.
Houston, Columbia, in the on-orbit multi-axis RCS burn procedure, orbit ops, we're thinking we probably could burn without opening up the ohms heliums, if you concur.
We copy and concur.
Okay, we're just going to leave it configured as is, and you won't see us going through those if interconnect steps. We're on to step 2.
We copy. Columbia, Houston, we see good config for the burn.
Thank you.
Columbia, Houston, good burn.
Yeah, Mr. Free. Acid, reset, low, F.
Okay.
244.
There no RMS.
Out.
is still out of limits. We'll need to get a go from you to maneuver to the set viewing position with the arm.
Copy, Story.
We understand.
We're at 120 pitch, Tom. Okay, on angle. Shoulder pitch.
Much more, Tom, and to re-grapple it, I would have to move the orbiter.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be too pointed down too far at us. A little while.
It's a young.
See, so at this point, the crew has got this laser, which they use to shine on the wake shield, and they get range and velocity marks every so often to just keep track of the wake shield. You can see that it's going right over the overhead windows and off to the left of the ship. It'll be heading off towards the nose a little bit, and increasing its distance from the orbiter.
Houston, Columbia, sorry we've been so quiet. It's very difficult to get a mark with the attitude that the wake shield is with respect to us. It had quite a different trajectory because of the length of time we set with it before turning on the thruster, a lot different from STS-80. So the position it moved through over the windows and into the front window has been very difficult to get a mark. We don't really have a mark to give you yet.
I understand, Taco, and if Story had a thruster on time, we'd take that.
Thruster's still thrusting, right, Story?
Yes.
How's it looking, Rommel?
And Houston, if you could pass on to the folks who built the tool bag, we're making good use of it during our EVA tool config also.
Thanks, Tammy. We'll pass that on.
KT. I was shoving arms and legs and every other damn thing I could to get in there. Ready, Jones? We have much more padding on these than we do. How you doing, Jones? Everything is much bigger.
Okay, I can see the back is clear.
Yeah, I saw it was clear too. Now,
Get it in the engaged position.
yeah, it is. It's always in the engaged position. The helmet, yes, good. All right, you ready, Tom?
Copy. That was a good suggestion, Tammy, to get it from down low.
Yeah.
And Columbia Houston, we would suggest while you have the handle off, go ahead and cycle the locking mechanism to verify that it appears to be functioning properly.
Okay.
Tammy, you on the equalization valves there?
Okay, I'm at the outer hatch story.
Okay, uncap them, and then take them if you can simultaneously both to emergency.
Okay.
We're going to blow down the thermal cover and then use the CCTVs in the bay to look at the mechanisms.
Okay, got one vent cap off.
I like these contingency EVAs, you know?
I didn't think we'd be doing one in the airlock, though.
Yeah.
Okay, story, both the equalization valves are in off. I just want to give you the whole config. The hatch is in the unlocked position. And you're saying you want me to take both these valves to emergency?
The air coming out of those valves will blow down the thermal cover such that we can look at the hatch mechanism with the RMS camera.
Exactly. So, both silo to emergency, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you ready?
We're ready? And the thermal cover did pop down.
Okay.
Great. Airlock pressure going down, Tammy.
Copy.
Okay, you guys...
Good. Monitoring my suit peak.
Just relax now. Just take it easy for a while. Let's do some look at the...
Okay.
Looks like some sunshine coming in the hatch there. Actually, it's RMS spotlight. Oh.
That's, I think we're in darkness.
I tell you what, that's just what Mom ordered. What we'd like now is to have Tammy try to activate the lock and unlock mechanism and then try the handle again. Although you've got such a good view, we can even read the unlocked on the tab.
Okay, right now we're fully seated in the locked position. I'm going to rotate to unlock. Okay, again, we'll not seat in the unlocked position. That's about 3/4 of the way. I'll jiggle the handle as I try to get it properly seated in the unlocked position.
Tammy, what we see is that the outside handle is in the unlocked position. What we would recommend is removing the inside handle, putting it in the unlocked position, and then attempting to reinstall it. Lieutenant Columbia, Houston. We're ready to complete the survey, and we just saw a pretty good bit of motion there in the linkage.
Yeah, we see the motion in the linkage. What we've discovered so far, Bill, with the inner hatch handle on the outer hatch is that it doesn't matter whether the inner hatch handle is locked or unlocked. We still get about that same 30 degrees of play on the rotation of the handle, and we see the mechanism that the linkage is moving in response to that. But at some point, at that 30-degree point, something jams. And right now our thinking is that that jam is occurring in the hub of the latch handle mechanism.
Houston, Columbia, as you saw, we walked around slowly throughout the entire hatch perimeter. We can't detect any displacement laterally, and we certainly see no gross motion as measured against the markers that we put around the door yesterday at 10-2. So we don't have any deltas to show you. Any other things that you'd like to see? Okay, we are full closed, that is in the direction of closed. And now I'm going as far open as the handle will go easily. And now I'm going to push those extra couple of degrees where we really come to a hard stop.
Okay, we really appreciate that, Tammy.
To the closed direction.
Yeah, that gave us a very good idea of what you had told us in words a couple of days ago. So we really appreciated that, and that concludes our requirements for downlink of the hatch. Thank you very much. That was excellent.
You're welcome, Mark.
5, and that's arbitrary. Well, there's a counter if you can see it.
Oh, you've already got 5 turns set in there?
No.
It just counts as
but
I'm
the
used
problem.
to count that. Yeah.
It's fine. That's either way will work.
So when you're working, you don't.
Exactly, and that's one of the problems of where that window is. That when you're working, the data you're supposed to be looking at is not in view most of the time.
As opposed to here or there.
Going to be 4?
Most of the time that's going to be out ahead of you, isn't it?
Yes, in my opinion, yes.
Okay, go to 4 now?
B4, that's it.
So you should be reading 10.
Let's just keep thinking it, yeah.
And then you want to...
Go to 3 clockwise.
Yes.
5.
Okay.
Verify it's in 0. Position 1. A and B connected. E press A. Transfer all into B.
This is Mission Control Houston. This television is showing berthing of the wake shield facility that took place about an hour and a half ago. This is a videotape being played back to the ground from the Shuttle Columbia. Again, the wake shield facility was retrieved, captured using the mechanical arm by astronaut Tom Jones aboard Columbia at 8:01 p.m. Central Time. All activities with the rendezvous and retrieval of the wake shield went just as planned, as Commander Ken Cockrell flawlessly flew Columbia to within reach of the satellite. All of that going just as scheduled.